Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Now today we're doing a first beer review from this brewery. We haven't actually had this brewery on the channel before. And going by what they charge for delivery, we might not have them on again. Seriously. So today we're going to be doing Best Bitter from the Hook Norton brewery in the Cotswolds, isn't it? It's a Cotswold brewery, if I remember rightly. But yeah, so there are, what the hell is this going on the table? Hell. So yeah, it's a family. It's one, I think there's only 35 family-owned breweries left in the UK. And traditional ones anyway. We're not talking about all these kind of little conglomerate kind of microbreweries and craft breweries where it's like two chums and a girlfriend, you know what I mean, that kind of stuff, and a box of hops. But this is actually a tradition. I think basically they first started to brew beer and sell it 1856 it was. I think the farm that the brewery actually is on was bought in 1849, but they didn't actually start brewing and actually releasing beers until 1856. So there you go, how sad's that? But more up to date, this is a 500ml bottle. It's 3.4%. It's not the cheapest beer in the world. There's a surprise coming from a family-owned brewery. But the thing that stood out for me was all the beers I bought came to £26, and then when it got to the actual checkout and I went through kind of, to pay, I think, well, why is it sitting at £40 now? Because these buggers, yeah, seriously, these highway robben, these ones that wear the kind of mask with the two eye holes in them, aye. Well, the Hook Norton brewery charged me £14 delivery. Seriously, £14. Christ. They've got a cheek, so they have. An absolute cheek. I'm telling you, it's enough to drive at the wall. So it is. But anyway, it's annoying. It really is annoying when they charge that. There's no excuse for it. Because remember, we get things shipped about. We ship ATMs about. And it only costs just over £100 to get an ATM shipped, round about the UK, and for a further distance, if I go like, because a lot of ATMs are going back and forward from, say, London or Yorkshire. They're the kind of two main areas, and going back and forward, and they're only just over £100 a pop plus the VAT. I mean, 14 quid for a wee box. And this is another thing. It's strange, it came in 3 boxes. And the problem is they're little packs, but then they put them in these one individual boxes. The thing is, though, you could actually get 2 of the packs into the one box. But no, let's put one in each, and you're thinking, seriously. Anyway, so this is 3.4%. It's basically an award-winning beer. It's won a few awards. I'll put all that kind of details down below. But I think they won one in 2024 as well. But there's some spiel in the back. What does it say? Hooky is subtly... Oh God. I just know I'm not going to enjoy this word. Subtly balanced. Don't know why that was a problem. Amber bitter, hoppy to the nose and malty on the palate. The classic session beer. Eminently drinkable. Cheers. From J.W. Clark, great grandson of John Harris. John Harris. Some people remember him as the founder of Hook Norton Brewery, but some people also remember him as he coined the phrase "taking up the Harris." But anyway, I'm joking. He didn't coin that phrase. Somebody else coined it about him, but you know what I mean. Taking up the Harris. Anyway. That wasn't bad. That'll probably get me arrested. I I actually quite enjoyed that. That tickled me, that one. I don't care if you didn't enjoy it and that type of stuff. I did. I wasn't bad for off the cuff. Kind of phrase taken it. Anyway, but yes, John Harris was the founder. He was the one that bought the farm in 1849, things like that. And I think there was a malt barn on the farm, if I remember rightly. So he started off malting and then being a merchant for hops as well and things like this. So there's a few different things, and then of course they all thought, well, we've got the ingredients, why not just start making beer? So there you go, there's a surprise. So yeah, so he was a founder and that type of stuff, and apparently J.W. Clark is the great grandson of John Harris. There you go. Now what does it say? Well, apparently it's light amber, smell is soft fruit, and taste is fresh malt. So shall we crack it open and see what it's like? Yeah, why not? There's a bottle on. There we go. Oh, cheeky. So let's see what this is like. I'm looking forward to this. You know. Ooh. Only problem is it's in the bottle, so it'll lose a little bit at least on that point, especially probably in mouthfeel. It's just the way it is, you know. So, what does it smell of? You said soft fruit. No, I'm getting malt. Not really getting so much soft fruit. No, I'm just getting light malt tones. I'm not really getting soft fruit. I don't know where they're getting that from. Or maybe they've got better noses than I've got, you know what I mean? Fuck myself superpower. Anyway. Yeah. It's got a kind of very light malt aroma. And nothing really else. Right, let's see what it tastes of. A wee bit gassy. Oh, Jesus, eh? So it is. A little bit of bitterness at the back end, a bit of hoppy bitterness there. Maybe a little hint of pine, just a little hint. Yeah, a little hint of pine, which will probably hopefully kind of die down. It's quite light just now, so obviously as my mouth gets acclimatised, it'll probably die down even more, but I'm noticing it just now. I'm just seeing where this is going on with this damn mic, because I'm looking at it and thinking, I can't see the mic. I'm sure I put the mic on, and I'm looking at it because I'm looking at the viewfinder and I'm thinking, I can't see it. I'm looking for the blue light, I can't see it, and I'm thinking, don't tell me I've started this blooming video and I'm not even got the mic on. Yeah, that would be me. Professional to the last, you know. Absolutely. Yeah, it seems quite nice. It's on the lighter end of the scale at 3.4%, which again is fine. What was it? Oh yeah, apparently they were saying, was it Heineken is dropping the what do you call it? The alcohol content in Sol. So it's going to basically go down in ABV percentage. And it was reported in the Sun. So it's all about this, that, and the other. And again, it's supposed to be trying to, one is to kind of reduce the prices, you know, wholesale prices, but also reduce their outgoings in tax, because obviously it used to be types of alcohol was the main kind of differentiating, and basically alcohol tariffs, you know, or alcohol duty. Although I prefer tariffs, because duty kind of tells you there's only one kind of tax percentage, but there's not, because they also put VAT on top of that as well, so you're actually paying, you know, tax on top of tax. So I like to call it a tariff rather than, because it's like a penalty, really, to be totally honest. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, they should be really taking the VAT off the product and then basically adding the duty on after the VAT, but to basically add that on first and then you're taking a 20% hit as well on the duty as well as the product. Is just ripping the piss. In my view, it's always been like that. It's just, I find it ridiculous. They do it in fuel as well. Arseholes. But anyway, so apparently this is what's been happening, and what caught my eye was they did a little mini survey, and it was a case as though if your favourite beer's alcohol content started to drop, would you stop drinking? Or another option would be, does it really matter the alcohol content of a beer as long as the taste is nice? And then the other ones is a case of I don't give a toss. Well, funnily enough, the one was is a case as though people were saying, well, it's not worth it. If the alcohol content's too low, then it's not worth continuing drinking it, then sod it. I'm not drinking it, no matter whether it tastes exactly the same, or, you know, it may even taste better in the view of Stella Artois, because it started to lose some of that chemical aftertaste when they kept dropping the alcohol content. So for me it made it more palatable. Right, let's talk more about this. So I'm getting a little bit of fruitiness now, actually. So there is. There's some going on there in the mid-tongue, just near the kind of middle to back end. Overall, first kind of impressions of it, as I'm halfway down the glass, is that got a nice level of malt. Nice little base sweetness there, not overly sweet, but nice little base sweetness connecting with the malt. Nice bit of grain, nice bit of hop, especially at the back end. The pininess is still a bit there, but hopefully it'll kind of disappear, but it's not enough to really annoy me yet. I know it's there, but it's not really at the kind of intensity where it's going to be like, oh god, I'm getting sick of this. But yeah, overall, I mean, it being a bitter, I'd like a bit more bitter, but again, because it's down south and things like that, it's everything in kind of moderation from that point of view. Excuse me. But yeah, overall it's quite a nice beer. And I think, if I remember rightly, it's somewhat, again, it's around about the kind of £3 mark. Again, I'll confirm that down below in the beer facts, but I mean, it's obviously at the pricier end. And then, of course, drinking it, it's a nice beer. But then you've got to kind of look on the basis of price. So there you go. Strange one. But yes, let's break down the flavours before we start giving it a score. Starts off, nice bit of light malt. So it is. And we're talking about light kind of caramel tones, it quite light. And slightly kind of light syrupy tones from the malt, a little bit of grain, a nice kind of sweetness that kind of runs from front to back. That pininess still isn't dissipating actually, you know. I'm kind of 3/4 of the way down the glass and it's still not dissipating. It's kind of holding, which is fine, but that's not bitterness, that's a pininess. You're getting a kind of bitterness coming off of that, but let's get back to the mid-tongue. When it moves on to the kind of mid-tongue, all the kind of flavours kind of stay basically the same. The grain kind of slightly drops a little bit and you start getting little kind of tones coming from the hops. But just near the kind of middle of the mid-tongue, you're picking up kind of slightly kind of very light hints of fruit. So you are. But again, not clear enough to identify, but they seem to be kind of slightly kind of I wasn't going to say, it's maybe kind of slightly kind of slightly peachy kind of feel to it, that type of thing. Slightly peachy. Well, this is what I'm getting as an impression, but it's not clear enough to really say for definite, but it just has that kind of feel of the kind of more of the kind of softer fruits from the trees, that type of stuff, kind of peachy, maybe not so much apricot, maybe plummy, you know, kind of light, kind of plum, kind of fleshy kind of feel to it, not the actual kind of skin type feel to it. Overall, it's quite nice. For me, it doesn't stand out as anything brilliant, this one, which is a shame because I was looking forward to it being the best bitter. I've had Hook. I've not had Old Hooky, but I've had Hooky, but I've not had Old Hooky. I think somebody asked me that in the comments, and I've had Hooky before. I actually had that on cask in a pub in Cheltenham. That's where it was. I had it in Cheltenham. So it was. I was about to think, now where's GCHQ up there? So there's one in Cheltenham, and then there's one over the back from Barnstable heading out over. There's a few kind of ones kind of heading round about there. There's ones up in the cliffs, kind of between that and kind of Bude. So there is. Quite sad. I know these things. But yeah, I had it there, and yeah, it was nice. I found it really quite nice. It was kind of nice, rich malt, everything else, and it was very nice beer in the cask, and I was quite enjoying it. This I'm enjoying less so because it doesn't really have the malt levels, and there's a pineness. There isn't so much of a bitterness, but more of a pineness at the back end. And this is the problem: as it starts to kind of move from the mid-tongue, it starts getting this kind of pininess. And although it's not a strong pininess, it's quite a persistent one because it's not really kind of dying down as you get more acclimatized to the beer. It's just holding it, and I just don't like that in beers. That's the problem. I'm just not a fan of it. And the problem is, though, between the pininess flavour and the bitterness, I'm losing some of that bitterness because the pininess is there kind of before it and just kind of hanging about, which for me is kind of spoiling it a bit. But yeah, overall it's quite nice. But what would I give it out of 10? Well, there's a question. I mean, I'd be quite happy to buy this in the supermarket and enjoy it and everything else and things like that. I could also have quite an easy little session on it. The problem is the price, regardless of what they're charging me for delivery. You know, the Dick Turpins of the world, you know. But yeah, two things that stand out is price, just for the beer. For being looking around about the kind of £3 mark, there's better beers. In my view, there's better beers. It's overpriced for what it is. But there just seems to be the nature of the beast right now. So that's the first thing, and the pininess kind of detracts from it as well. So what would I give this out of 10? Well, I'm looking at it. Regardless of price, if I was looking at it, I've got to say, is it a 7 out of 10 beer? Not really, no. It's kind of under that because while it's a nice enough beer, it's not a wonderful beer, and it has that pininess. It doesn't really have, I mean, why do they call it a bitter? I mean, I've always found that's more, I mean, I think it's more of an amber ale down south than it is really a bitter, because it doesn't really have the bitterness. If you look at a Yorkshire bitter and then you come down to the kind of southern end of the country and what they call a bitter down there, it's lacking in the bitter, and a lot of times it's just like kind of, well, what they try to do is they're really making what I would call an amber ale, even though amber ale isn't really a traditional style of beer, because it really is a bitter. But I think it came to the fore being called an amber ale because it was no longer bloody having the bitterness to really be called a bitter. And I feel this is the kind of same. It's more of a kind of amber ale with a bit of pineness at the back end, which okay is fine, you know, but if you're going to call it a bitter, you just get my hopes up, and then when it's not, then it's like, well, that's a bit of a kind of disappointment. So it's that kind of thing. So then I'd say, right, so is it above average then? Is it a 5 or a 6? And I would probably say, yeah, if it was a normal price, then it would be a 6. I would probably say, yeah, give it a 6. It's not too bad. I would probably say, yes, it's above an average. But then you look at it as a case of what they're charging for it. And if because it's closer to the £3 mark, then you think, well, is it really worth it for that price? Even though it's a family-run brewery and everything else, I can understand they're going to make a profit and that type of stuff, but they don't have to ride me when they're doing it, you know. So then I'll think, well, no, it's not. So you can knock half a point off of that, you know, from that point of view. So then you're kind of looking at it, right, 5.5 is probably a more kind of, from my point of view, a more honest kind of score to give it. It's an okay beer, it's quite nice actually, but it's not worth the money they're charging for it per bottle. And it's not really a bitter. It's an amber ale with a bit of pineness at the back end, which is fine if you like that, but if I'm buying a best bitter, then I want it to be more like a bitter. I don't want it to be an amber ale with a bit of pineness at the back end. It's just not for me. So yeah, so it's a little bit of a disappointment from that point of view. So it is. But anyway, it's 3.4%. It's 5.5 out of 10. It's a 500ml bottle. It's the first of a few Hook Norton beers coming up on the channel. So thanks for watching. Cheers, and bye for now.